Okay, so let me just share my screen. All right. You guys see that?
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. All right. So Power Hour is income producing activities. It's what really drives your business forward and really helps you set really good activities to help you down the road, and helps you kind of drive it into one solid hour of working so that you don't feel like you're scattered all the time. So the 3 questions that I really want you to think about today is, how much time do I spend on my business in one day? What am I doing during that time? And does the time I spend on my business, is it income producing? And I'm going to explain all of this, but I really want you to think about these questions, because sometimes as a leader, and when you're starting, you don't know exactly what to do, or you don't know what you're spending your time on, or is it worthy to be spending this time? This is the question I ask myself all the time. Is this a worthy activity to be doing to help grow my business? So think about those 3 questions as I'm talking today. But the other thing I'll say is, you might screenshot or take a picture of, and I will post this, but some of the slides have really good information on them that might be hard to write down while I'm talking this whole time. So taking a screenshot might be helpful, or rewatching this. So working versus thinking. Do you spend all of those hours working your business, or some of it is thinking about your business? So this is what happened to me when I first started. I was thinking about doTERRA 24 hours a day. I couldn't stop thinking about it. But was that actually working hours? Was that actually helping me grow with what we were trying to do? And so there's been a poll kind of out there on some of the leader pages for doTERRA, and these are the questions, these were the answers that were given when somebody asked, why are people successful in doTERRA? The things that they're doing to be successful. So the 3 things that people said were teaching and enrolling people, so helping people get their own membership to doTERRA, wholesale membership, help those who are enrolled to learn, or to continue to learn, which is super important, and help others to teach and enroll. So really, you're just doing this like cycle of you're teaching people, you're helping them get oils, and then you're helping them learn more about their oils, and then you're helping those people teach people and enroll. It's kind of a repeated cycle of duplication process here. So what the Power Hour is, sorry, I skipped a slide. Okay. This is really important to know. Okay. So what activities are not Power Hour activities, but are really good activities? So I think this is important to acknowledge, because I feel like a lot of times we get caught up in and doing stuff we think is income producing activities, or helping us grow financially. And then there's really good activities that are awesome to do, but not during what we're going to talk about, the Power Hour. So the activities that are really awesome, but not during this hour that we're going to be talking about, things like organizing your oils. I do this. Watch doTERRA videos or training videos. I love watching doTERRA videos and training videos. You guys are watching a training video right now. But during this 1 hour that we're going to talk about, it's not the best time. What I did actually when I started was I would spend about an hour every evening. Instead of watching a TV show that I liked, I would watch an hour of doTERRA videos. I would just look on YouTube and find videos to watch to help me learn either about the oils or about business or whatever. And that helped. Checking your text or email constantly. That can be not a, it's good to check your text and email, obviously, but, just having your phone always in your hand going, did that person text me back yet, is not a productive thing to be doing. Memorizing oil books and guides. Yes, it's awesome to look through books. I have like 4 oil guides at my computer, but I'm not constantly memorizing them or looking through them or trying to remember every detail of them. They're there for when I need them, and that's how I use them. Scrolling Facebook or social media for contacts, friends in need. This is important, but it's not something to be doing constantly or something to be doing during this 1 hour. And then reading self-development books. Another really great activity that I talk a lot about is personal development. But during this 1 hour, we're not going to concentrate on that. Okay. So what is the Power Hour? Like, what is this special thing? Let me tell you what it is. It's 1 hour of uninterrupted time. It's not having kids around, if possible. Hire a babysitter, or do it when your husband's around, or do it when the kids are at school, or when they're asleep. If you have another job right now besides doTERRA, do it during your lunch break or in the evening times. I wouldn't split it up more than 30 minutes, because if you find that you're doing 5 minutes here and 5 minutes there, it's definitely not as productive as at least a 30-minute time slot. If possible, do the whole hour at once. Because what happens is your energy will kind of go to this thing and then it's kind of zapped. And so if you do it all at once, then you can be like, I did my hour, now, I can move on and do something else. So another really important thing with this Power Hour is keeping a log of what you're doing. So where's my book? It's right here. I keep this with me all the time. This is just my notebook that I've made myself. But I also like to use Google Docs. Whatever you like, something that is with you all the time. Google Docs is nice because it can be on your phone, but I like a notepad because I like to write things down. But the information that you want to write down is who you're talking to, what form of communication they use. So if they like to text, phone call, if it's a neighbor that you talk to in person, if it's a teacher that you see at the school, is it Facebook Messenger that they use? Whatever that is, it's good to know, because what I've noticed is I'll text somebody through Facebook Messenger and they don't get it. But then as soon as I get their phone number and I text them, they respond right away. So it's good to keep in mind how they communicate. Or maybe it's an elderly person that doesn't use text messaging as frequently, so calling them on the phone is easier than texting them, whatever the form is. Write down when you talk to them, and if you talk to them again in the future, what's that date? And then any notes about them, like you gave them a sample of Deep Blue and then you followed up with them 5 days later. Write that down, so kind of have that log going. And this is something that you're going to keep going back to all the time to reference what they're doing. Okay, so let's break it. Oh, I keep skipping past slides. Okay, so the Power Hour activities. This is the actual things that you can be doing during that 1 hour of time that's going to be really productive, because you're really energized, energy-wise, you're kind of condensing it down to doing it all in this 1 hour. Schedule classes or one-on-ones. Call or text to invite guests to classes. So if you've got a class coming up on Saturday and it's Thursday and you're texting or calling those people to invite them and say, hey, remember I asked you, you said you wanted to come 2 weeks ago. Now the class is going to be on Saturday. Like sending them out text invites or reminders. Remind guests about upcoming classes. contacting people to give out samples to people, invite people to an event. You know, there'll be local events, or maybe you're doing an event, or something like that, or doTERRA is doing a local event, to invite people to that. Invite already enrolled people to a continuing education class. Invite those that have already been to a class to another class. I have to say something about this. I've taught classes, and I teach the same class workshop all the time. The same pretty much basic information about how to use oils, why you should use doTERRA oils, all of that information. I teach that same class a lot. I've had the same people come to the same class multiple times. And I'll invite them because I know how much they loved it. And I know for me, when I started learning, I went to like 3 different basic information classes, and learned something new every single time I went to one. And so what I found is, if people haven't enrolled like the first time they've come to a class, they might have been confused or overwhelmed, or not in that space that they needed to be to, want to accept the oils into their life. And so inviting somebody that hasn't enrolled to another class, or somebody that has enrolled to another class, is very typical and totally okay, and very helpful to people. Setting up membership overviews, holding membership overviews, all very good things to do during this Power Hour activities. And then I put hold classes in bold, because this is something you need to be doing a lot, frequently. It's a very high income producing activity that you can be doing. But don't do it during the Power Hour. Like, if you teach a class on a Thursday night, that's not your Power Hour for the day. That's you teaching a class for the night. But all of the stuff to get ready for the Power Hour or for the class happens during that hour. I want to pause for a second. Does anybody have any questions about any of that? No? If you do, just speak up. I'm happy to answer anything along the way, even if I can't see all of you. Okay, so let's break it down, because that can be really overwhelming, and I just thought this was a funny quote. If you're overwhelmed by the size of a problem, break it down into smaller pieces. So even though this isn't a problem, it's a good thing. Let's break it down, because that is a lot of information, a lot of a list that, you might go, okay, now what do I do with this list? So start with your 100 list. And if you haven't made a list of 100 that we've talked about in the last few weeks and months, how to get started, go back to that list. Invite people to a class off that list. Offer samples to people. Make excitement, get them excited about oils and how they are working. Make it about them and not about you. I think that is probably the best piece of advice there at the bottom. Make it about them and not about you. You have to have that heart of service, that kind of just mindset that you are here to help them figure out what they need and how you can serve them. And the vehicle that you're using to serve them is doTERRA, is the oils, to get that to them. So another way to use this Power Hours is talk to people that have attended a class and have enrolled. So call to set up membership overviews, or text them about a membership overview if you haven't set that up yet. Ask them what oils they have tried and how did it work for them. Call people or text them and invite them to a continuing education class. And I know I'm not putting a list of what I do for continuing education classes, but maybe I'll make a list and put that in our Facebook group so that you guys have an idea of other class ideas you can do on top of just the basic class for those that have enrolled. Invite to host a class and explain host rewards. That's super important. If you're feeling really stuck, start asking people that have enrolled to host a class. So something that I do is, I was looking actually in my back office yesterday, and I noticed that this one girl has ordered twice now over the last few days, mass orders of like random oils. And it's like, and she got the wooden box, and she got some the keychain vials all on her own. She did this, and it's really great to see this, because what you can do is you can see this and you can go, man, maybe she want to host a class. So look at that information and reach out to her and say, hey, you know, I would love to help you set up a class for you and your friends. I noticed that you're really loving the oils, you know, that type of thing. So that's really important if you're feeling stuck, to add that in.
Liz?
Yes.
Can I jump in? Hi, everyone. So that's such a great idea. And if you, I think we did a Zoom that's listed in the Grow Oil somewhere on how to look into your back office. So if you went to Wellness Advocate Services genealogy, detailed genealogy, then you could like print off your entire list of enrollees, and then you could go through it with a highlighter, you know, like highlight, just have a hard copy of that, so that when you're feeling stuck, you can flick through and be like, oh, look, this person's on LRP, this person isn't on LRP, this person hasn't ordered in 6 months. And you can kind of go through and create different lists from that, so that you have those contacts during your power hour, instead of sitting on your couch like, who can I think of to host a class? Like, you've got already like a list of people.
Awesome.
Yes. To add that. One of my builders came over the other day with her printed out list of people, and we kind of went through them and talked about them. Like, some of the people were people I'd placed there, so we kind of went through who they were and where they lived and what we could do, you know, to support them or try and incentivize them to like do a class or that sort of thing. So just wanted to add that in.
Thank you. Okay, so those who attended a class and didn't enroll. So ask them how they liked the class, you know, call them up or text them and say, hey, I'm just following up with you about, you know, the class I taught last week. What did you like about it? Or what did you learn from it? I think that's really, really important to get them re-engaged. Send them a video, a tip, or something that interests them. So if they walked away from the class going, man, I really love that peppermint when we put it on, send them a tip or a video about peppermint and how it works or where it comes from, or something like that. It's really easy to send videos and information through text messaging nowadays, you know, instead of a phone call and being like, go to this website or something like that. Offer to give them a sample to try. So I want to make this really like important. I never sample during a class, meaning I don't give them a sample vial and say, take this home and try it. So before they come to a class, they hopefully have been sampled with something. During the class, I try to get them to smell every oil or try, you know, put peppermint on or deep blue on, put lemon in their water. So sampling that way, but not actually taking a vial home with them of a little sample of something they want or are interested in, because now they're not going to buy a kit because they just got sent home with a sample, and so it makes the process longer. So that's why sampling prior to a class is really helpful. Give them lots of tastes of the oil, you know, or put on the oil, smell the oil during a class, but don't give them actually a sample to take with them. But let's say a week or two has gone by and they're still kind of on the fence, or they're like, yeah, I'm just not really sure. Give them another sample of something to try. You know, if they're like, I'm just not sleeping well, give them a sample of lavender or vetiver or something to try. And then start that process again. Follow up with them with a sample, invite them to another class. The stat there that I said, interested 80% of the time, that's actually really true. This is me. I learned about oils. I went to a class and I was nervous about getting started with oils. I was overwhelmed with the information and I was super interested. And I'm the type that likes to go home and look at the book and look at the website. If you feel like somebody's come to a class and they haven't enrolled, and so you've like just said, forget them, you're missing out on a huge opportunity to follow up with them again, and cycle through what these steps are, because most of the time they are interested on some level, or they wouldn't have come to a class in the first place or asked for a sample in the first place. So keep that in mind.
And if you don't do it, that's opening up the door for somebody else, the next person that they come across who does doTERRA.
Yes, that is so true. So don't leave people hanging.
And I just want to say something about the sampling before a class, like that. I've heard this all along, and it's like all well and good, but then when you think, oh, I'm inviting 12 people to a class, like that is going to take me a full day to drop off or deliver like 12 samples to different people. I've just started doing something with a host where I make them like a little basket. I usually email them the like images and wording to use on an invitation or a Facebook event. But then I also give them a little basket where I cut up the trio, the little sample cards that have like the 3. So I cut up the 3, and I have these little business cards that say like doTERRA Wellness Advocate with my name and number and my doTERRA like ID or whatever at the bottom. And then on the back side of my business card, it says Next Essential Oil Workshop, and I've left a blank space so I can handwrite that. So I handwrite the person's class details and I staple those together, and then I give the host a basket. So they feel really like, most people are inviting online, but then they're like, oh, I can go to school at drop off and give out everyone like a little, gift of this little essential oil vial. And that's been working well. So I don't actually have to worry about giving all the samples out. And that really isn't very expensive because, maybe I'm giving 4 trio cards, which I've cut up into 3. So I've got 12 samples for the person, that's $4. So, you could make your own, but I think, the hosts have been really happy, like to have something to give out to their friends and invite them along. So I just wanted to throw that in there as well.
I think that's an awesome idea. I think that's a great idea. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so those who are enrolled but haven't ordered recently. So you know how Em was saying about printing off that list of people? We should probably show that maybe sometime. Maybe I'll make a little live video about it, because it is really important. That's something that Em and I learned when we first started, or a few months in, about printing off a list of your people on that detailed genealogy, because then you can go through and you can see, oh, this person ordered but hasn't ordered recently, or they enrolled and then they haven't ordered anything since they enrolled. And this gives you a great base and foundation to how to help and serve these people. So ask them about what oil they're using. Let them, or how they're using their oils. Let them know about a monthly special. doTERRA's been having some awesome specials between Mother's Day and Father's Day, and I know they're doing some stuff in the UK and the US and Australia right now. I think some good promos. But here in America also, they're doing like the best promo ever with this 50 points back to you and to the person. So people need to know about that, because I've gotten people really excited about, about that. Invite them to another class. So if you guys haven't noticed, we're talking a lot about inviting people to more than one class, multiple classes, having classes, hosting classes, all of these things, because that's what's going to get your business going and the momentum going. Ask about hosting a class to get the host rewards. Well, come up with a host reward. I usually do a diffuser, a free bottle of oil, or some roller bottle, so that they can fill up themselves with, whatever. So whatever speaks to them, come up with a host gift and maybe change it up every couple months so that you've got some new, things to work with. Ask about the possibility to enroll people to get their oils paid for. I think a lot of times people don't know that they could enroll a few people, or host a class and be the enrollee of those people and get their oils paid for, and get their kit money back at least through fast starts. And I think that's important for people to know, or to give them that opportunity to at least, think about that. Okay, so those who order regularly but have not hosted a class, ask them if they'd like to get oils paid for, just like I said. teach them about the power of 3 and getting $50. So, if they enrolled their friends or their family and they, got them all on LRP and they get their $50 check, that would really add to that getting their oils paid for amount. And would be really nice to kind of have that income coming in every month for them. So I think it's important to talk about that with people that maybe are sharers of the oil, maybe host a class once in a while, but aren't full-blown builders. But getting that power of $350 is very helpful. Share incentives for hosting. So, see how you can help them. Talk about how you can get them a gift. Just like Em was saying, giving them a basket with the samples in it, I think is huge. And then thank them for being a regular customer. And I think it's fun to give Happy Mail. So I've talked about this a little bit, but in the last few weeks, but I've been doing what I call Happy Mail, because mail is really boring now. It's got our bills and junk in it, right? So I've been giving out, I'll make up like 12 roller bottles at one time of some blend I like, and I'll look through my back office and randomly give out oils to people, like that roller bottle to people that I've enrolled, or other people on my team that I just want to do something nice for. I've just sent something in the mail. I think it's really important to tell people thank you for being a regular customer, or just being like, if you see them on the street or at school pickup or drop off or at the park or whatever, and you see somebody that you've enrolled, just be like, hey, thanks for enrolling, or thanks for ordering regularly. Thanks for, being a part of my team. I love that I can talk to you about oils, and then I know that you love them and use them with your family. I just ran into my sister's neighbor is somebody I've enrolled over the last few years. And she came up to me, like she was out front and I was parking my car, and she's like, hey, I need to talk to you for a second. And she's like, I've been doing oregano and melaleuca on my dad's foot. He's had a fungus and we've been using it and it's helping so much. And they're from Canada and they've just been visiting. Can you help me get them a few more oils that they can take with them? Like she's coming to me saying these things. It feels good. She's been a regular LRP user. I'm happy to help them. I'm happy that she's coming up to me. Like, it's just a good relationship, and she'll be the first one to tell you that they love the oils and use them all the time in their house. So it's just fun to have that relationship with people. So, have that heart of thanks and have that, put those vibes out there. And who doesn't like to get something fun in the mail once in a while? I know I do.
Liz,
yes.
sorry. I
don't
Go for it.
No, I love that you're interrupting. I love that.
But I do remember, and I know I just want to acknowledge this, because I remember, so Liz and I, was it like 18-week course?
Yeah.
We'd only been doing our business for like 4 months, and we jumped into this thing. And, they were teaching us things like print off all the people and like highlight, and we had maybe like, I don't know, 20 people in our tree at that point, or
yeah.
Not hundreds anyway, like a lot of these people that were doing this program with us had. And so I just want to, acknowledge, like, if you only have a handful of people in your tree and we're like, pick some random person to send Happy Mail to, you might not have like a big pool of people right now, but we all start with like a really small pool of people. And, really by like in the beginning of jumping off with your business, like getting as many classes and getting as many new enrollees as possible in those first your first few months can be anytime, whenever you're restarting or firing up your business, but doing as many classes and getting that is how you're going to start building this pool, and the ripple effect of that is going to happen so that you do have these random people that you can pick to send Happy Mail to, or, I I just want to say that just in case there's anyone going, I only have 3 people in my tree. It's not a random person to pick. It's like my mum, my auntie, and my next door neighbor in my tree. So, it's okay. Like this grows. Like we both started with our mum, our auntie, and our next door neighbor in our tree. And it just, you keep doing the classes and you keep doing like the basics, and your tree grows so that you will end up having complete strangers in there that you can reach out to.
That is very important. Thank you. That is so true. But if you just have a small amount of people that you're working with right now, just a friendly text or, let's get together and have an oil chat, I think is fun actually also. So, doing small things together to grow your tribe, I think is amazing as well. So something else that I feel like needs to be addressed is those who have not changed their LRP order or LRP hasn't processed. So something to keep in mind is doTERRA, I've realized, doesn't inform you if a card that you have on file or personal information needs to be changed or updated because you've moved or whatever. You have to do all those things yourself, or your customer does, your person does. And so if they something that happened to me is I had identity theft happen on one of my cards recently, like in the last few months. Somebody tried to take my card and run it at like 30 different places. It was crazy. So they got my number and it was all online. So this card is the one I use for like all my online stuff, Amazon, doTERRA, all those places that you keep a card on file. I had to go in and change with all of these different places online. So not only was I getting a new card in the mail and so I could use it like at the grocery store, but all the places I shop online, I had to go in and make sure I changed them all on file. Well, if you don't remember or your customer doesn't remember that they needed to update their card on file, their LRP order will just not go through. And they might not realize it, or they, if they're not like super on top of it. All of us are usually on top of it. We're in the business, we're doing this, we know what's going on. But if you're just, if you're a wholesale customer and you order once a month and you don't really think about it other than that, you might not even realize that your card didn't run and that your order's not coming. This has happened quite a few times to me with people. And, a friendly text message that says, hey, you might just want to check your details, with doTERRA and make sure that your information is still current, or that type of thing. If somebody ordered like their original order and then hasn't ordered since then, or they've been on LRP and it's been running at like 5 points for the last few months, reach out to them and say something like, how can I help you? Would you love to come? I'd love it if you came to another class I'm teaching, whatever it is, to get them re-engaged, because maybe they were ordering a lip balm or a bar of soap the last 6 months and, they really need On Guard, but they can't remember how to log in, and so their LRP keeps running at the same points every month. Does that make sense, Em? Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, I hate making phone calls. Like, I don't know why. It's like my kids are always triggered when I'm on the phone. It's just so easy to like, oh, I'm going to reach, like when you're saying all this stuff, like reach out to them. Like, it's so easy and comfy and cozy to do that over an email or a Facebook message or a text message. I would definitely prioritize Facebook message or text message over an email. People dismiss emails all the time. I do it myself. Like, I just cannot keep up with responding to emails. So even if you're sending out an email, not getting a response and being like, ooh, I better not like keep harassing this person, I would honestly say like the best way to contact any of these people, like Liz is saying, like contact them about this and see if they want to do this, is over the phone, even though it is more uncomfortable than sending an email. And sometimes we have to suck it up or dig deep to be able to do that. But making like an actual call or speaking to that person in person is going to be way, way more likely to get a response and to create a relationship than an email. Sorry to say it, but it's true. Email just doesn't work.
I agree 100% with that. And the other thing I'll say is that's why it's good to do this. This is something really good to do during that power hour, so that you put all your energy into this and be like, okay, I hate making phone calls, or I don't like telling people their information needs to be updated or whatever it is. But if you just are like, okay, I'm going to do it during this one time, then you don't have to think about it anymore. You've done it. You've done your job there, and you can move on past it. So I think that's true. I personally hate email. I look at it because it's kind of like one of those necessary evils. But if somebody wants to reach me, text messaging or Facebook Messenger is like hands down the best way to communicate with me. Okay, I don't know if everybody does this, but David and my husband and I were just talking about this, that we need to do this even more when we're teaching a class. But the drawing slips that you can use during a class, use those as your log almost, or to gather information about the person. I found this drawing slip just by Googling it. And it's a really great one because people are writing down really good information that you can hold on to so that you can help them in the future and follow up with them. So if you want to print this one out, I just Googled drawing slip doTERRA and this came up. But add the names from, when you're doing a class and everybody's filled these out and you've given away a prize off of them, but then use the backside to write even more notes about them, about when you followed up with them, what they enrolled with, what they didn't enroll with but thought about enrolling with, what oils they were really interested in, whatever it is, so that you have those with you to use, in the future, so that that's a great thing to be going through during that power hour, is these slips of paper, and, keep them handy or keep them together per class. Add them to that log so that you can, use them and pull information from them. I feel like it's super handy. Do you use these?
Use those, or I use like a colorful paper doily that I ask people to write their name, email, phone number, and then it goes into a bowl to win a prize.
Yeah.
But I do not do a class without collecting the person's information. And I've learnt my lesson from not doing that. Like if I've forgotten or if I just didn't do it, I have like zero way of reaching out to those people because they were people that I don't know. They had come because they were invited by somebody else. I have no way of following up with them. Yeah.
So I think, even if you don't have a slip, a piece of paper is awesome to have. And
the other thing that I do in a class when I'm meeting brand new people, I make friends with them in the class. Like we don't leave the class without like they've fallen in love with me and want to be my best friend. And so I pull up my Facebook account on my phone before they leave and I'm like, type your name in and let's like be friends on Facebook. And so then after they leave the class, I message them and I'm like, it was so great to meet you, like blah, blah, blah. And if they enrolled, I'm like, I'll add you to the Live Oils group. If they didn't enroll, like we're friends now and they're going to see my stuff pop up in their feed.
Yes, that is awesome. That is a really good point. I should add that to this list because that's almost better than the drawing slip. I think they go hand in hand, but having contact with them or them, consciously seeing your Facebook posts is huge. I think, way of communicating with them. That's awesome. Great information. All right. Why is it not? Okay. Sorry. Hold on a second. My thing just totally screwed up on me. Okay. So this is something that, if you have a small organization right now and you're like, well, I don't really have anybody to taproot, then this might not apply, but it's really good information to know because you never know when you're going to need to reach out or when it's, to reach down below you. So if you haven't, I hadn't heard this term before, but taprooting is when you're reaching down to people in your organization to, see how you can help them. And here's some suggestions for how you can taproot. people that haven't ordered since they enrolled, which we've kind of talked about some of this stuff, have the same LRP that run every month, aren't on LRP, order didn't process like they planned, or like they say it was supposed to be done. If they haven't done these, then contact them about an upcoming continuing education class. Just reconnect with them about life in general, like, how are you? What's going on in your life? Look for ways to serve them. So, go over to their house and knock on their door and say, how can I help you today? I know that doesn't sound very sincere, but make it seem sincere. For me, I truly always go back to the foundation for me of why I'm doing doTERRA. And it really is to serve other people. So I see a lot of people, because I do preschool drop off. Now it's just ended yesterday for me, but every morning and every afternoon when I drop my little girl off at preschool, I see 20 moms at least every single day. And I've gotten to know these 20 moms every single day throughout the year. And half of them probably don't even know that I, do doTERRA as a business, but all of them know that I, want to talk to them, want to reach out to them, want to get our kids together. And I've slowly made and enrolled probably half of them now, just through being there and being their friend and, having play dates with our kids and all of that, because I've looked for ways to talk to them and connect with them and reach out to them and serve them. And if somebody's being sick, I've taken them food, or I've done stuff for them to help them know that I'm there for them, and created that relationship of trust so that they know, even when preschool's over, that we are still friends, that we have reached out, we've gotten each other's phone numbers, all of that. So, that's not really taprooting, but that's me, being there and serving people. So if I have enrolled somebody and maybe they're not engaged, in the business, I can reach down and say, how can I help this person again? Do you have anything to add to that?
No, not really. Yeah, I mean, it's I've seen different people, when I go out and about, obviously, I'm not trying to fool people, or trick them, or be anything that's not real, but I also put my doTERRA game on when I go places. I'm conscious about, this could be an awesome new connection, so I definitely, it's a practice, you want to have your oils with you. You want to be engaging in conversation with people. I don't know. I've just seen different people. I never turn off my love for oils or my looking around to see who might need them. And I definitely have noticed people oh, well, this is my doTERRA day. So today I'm just going to go to this, party, and I'm just going to relax and I'm not going to worry about that. I am just living my oil life all the time and always open to having a conversation with somebody that could lead to helping them with oils. Mm-hmm. So it's not really something you get into the practice of it, and it's not really something you turn on and off. It's just always there.
Right. Yep. I hear you.
I don't know if that's helpful. I've just noticed a few newer people in my team, and they're oh, no, I'm going to that thing and I don't want it to be anything to do with business. And I'm I'm going to that thing and I'm going to be super open to meeting amazing new people and making great new connections and sharing oils with people. And I think you have to have that or it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And that can be a practice in the beginning.
It definitely has to be something consciously done in the beginning, I think. Now it's just kind of our life. So that's just how it is. All right. So some tips to think about and just review. Make sure you make this about the person, about them, not about you. Just start talking to them about life. Just connect to them about whatever it is that's going on in that moment. It doesn't have to, whoa, sorry about that. Hold on a second. My screen just totally got messed up on me. Okay. Can you guys see that? All right. Be friendly and be excited about, you know, just what Em was just talking about, you know, kind of putting on that doTERRA game face. Trust is key in building business. I think that's super important. You have to build that trust and respect from people just about general life, you know, and whatever's going on, that it doesn't always have to be about oils, but having that with you all the time helps, you know, so that you can bring it up if necessary, or bring them out if necessary. Make sure you follow through with people. Don't leave them hanging. Don't drop them. If you said you're going to do something, if you said you were going to drop off a sample, do it. Don't, you know, don't leave them hanging. People expect it, or they're going to be like, she flaked on me. She's probably going to flake on that class. If you said you're doing a class, do the class. Don't not do the class because one person said they might come. Do the class anyways. You never know who's going to come, you know, and keep inviting people to classes. Really build that trust and respect and earn that from people. You know, you really have to be you, but if being you grows into this, like I've seen Em grow so much over the last 2 years, and I know that I have personally of, you know, I just would rather be a hermit in my house, but I have forced myself to become this more outgoing person and talk to people. And honestly, it's a selfish thing now because I've gained a ton of new friends. I have all these people that I love to talk to and see out when I'm, you know, dropping off or being with my kids or whatever the situation is out and about. I'm more friendly and I'm more open to making relationships and, you know, building those relationships with people. So keep that in mind. Your energy when you speak comes across louder than anything you say. Your demeanor, your body language, how you know, are dressed, how you're out and about speaks volumes. It's like 90% of the way we communicate as humans. What we say is only about 10% of how we communicate. So keep that in mind. Your energy level, the way you carry yourself, all of that, you know, people look at that and they want to talk to you. You're more approachable, you know, in those situations. Do you have any other tips that I forgot, Em? No. All right, we'll move on. So the 3 questions that we talked about at the beginning, I'd want you guys to just go back to those for a second. How much time do you spend on your business in one day? What am I doing during that time? And does that time I spend on my business become business income producing? Think about that. I've given you some really good tips. Em and I have given you some really good tips on how to maximize spending 1 full hour of really hitting the ground running every single day to really build your business, to really get those things done that are uncomfortable a lot of times. And, you know, if you just say, I'm going to spend this 1 hour every single day and you're consistent with it, I know the momentum will grow. I know that you'll become successful. I know you'll have that tree, those roots of that tree really growing, and the momentum will really keep, you know, cycling through, and you'll be teaching people and enrolling people, and they'll be teaching people and enrolling people. I've seen it done. I've seen this. This is what it's become for me. It's what's become for MLM. And I think, you know, we both started out really slow, and we both got kind of thrown into programs like what we're talking about with this Power Hour and doing. And I think it made all the difference for my business. What about you, Em?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we both like dove into this right at the same time, and we're sort of muddling our way through. So we definitely used each other a lot as accountability partners. Mm-hmm. And, you know, like I said before, a few months into starting, we did this crazy 18-week program where every week there was a call that we listened to, and there was a challenge. Like, spend an hour every day calling people. Like, I hated that challenge because I don't like to call anyone, but I knew Liz was doing it as well, and we would check in with each other, and it was like, oh, this really sucked, and like, or oh my goodness, I did sample 2 people every day this week, and you wouldn't believe like what's happened. And so we're working on setting up like a program that's not quite as intense, but something that will keep you on track. But also, like, we are all running our own business, and there isn't somebody who is checking in on you to see what you did every day. And so this is really something where you have to schedule into your day, like, this is my hour of doing it. I mean, it's like anything. I'm doing this 30-day like workout thing right now, and sometimes it's like 8:30 at night and I didn't make the time to do it, and I really don't want to do it, and I can make all the excuses in the book, and there's nobody checking to see if I'm doing that. We have to train ourselves and really set our own boundaries and work hours for ourselves if we want this to grow. Like, nobody is going to make this happen for you except for you. So, maybe at the start of the week, your power hour on, or you plan your week on a Sunday or a Monday morning, and you give yourself a challenge for that week, and find an accountability partner, like reach out in the group and see who wants to be your person to check in with. Like, that's really great. And I love matchmaking. So if you want me to match you with somebody, I'll do that. But, I've had some people in my tribe partner up with someone else in my tribe that's not in their specific branch specifically. And that, they've formed some really beautiful friendships, and that's a great way to stay on track without feeling like your like upline is up your bum or you're dragging your downline along with you. So having a crossline collab is a good thing. So post it on Grow Oil, see if you want to find somebody, or ask Liz or I, and we'll match make you.
Mm-hmm. I would love that.
Because if doTERRA doesn't work out for me, I want to start like an online matchmaking service.
For friends?
Just kidding. I'm kidding. For friends, yes.
I think that's super, key is having somebody that you can rely on. And, it be your upline or your mentor or whatever, that's fantastic. But having that person that's growing at the same rate as you and the same, doing the same things as you, your cross line, is fantastic also, and very helpful to bounce ideas off of. Does anybody have any questions about what the Power Hour is or how you go about doing it? No? Clear? Yes, my PowerPoint worked. All right, so have a great day. Does anybody have any other questions? No? Okay. Always ask your questions in the Grow Oils page if you have questions, but I will post this in the YouTube page and in the Facebook group today, so look for that, and have a great day. What's today? Thursday? Friday for some of you? Thursday for everybody.
Thursday for everyone.
Thursday for everybody. All right, have a good day. Good night.
Thanks, Liz.
We'll see you guys next week. All right.